Everybody, it's Chris over Dixieland Farm. I'm going to show you my anemic collection of Joe Jackson, but I'm going to start off with a bold statement. I think Joe Jackson is more talented and a better musician than Elvis Costello. So I'll show you my Elvis Costello collection, but I'll be honest with you. I find that there is a lot of filler in Elvis Costello. It's not like the songs are bad. They're good, but they're good. They're there and not really rememberable. They all just kind of blend together into it's Elvis Costello, you know, and there's like little bright spots here and there. Which Joe Jackson does not get the same love for some reason. This is, I believe, his debut, Look Sharp. This album is just as punky, new wave as anything that Elvis Costello did. That face really says it all. I mean, and I think the original issues had a button of, I think, the cover. That I don't have that. This has the issue really going out with him. And there's probably another song on here that was a hit. But when you listen to this, you're like, that's a really damn good album. And I am ashamed that I don't know this album well enough. And part of the problem is I have these things on vinyl records, which means I have to be in my home and I have to be present and I have to play them. And I don't have that kind of lifestyle anymore. I am out and about most of my time. So these things just stay trapped. I have to digitize this so I can actually listen to it. This is where I actually learned of Joe Jackson. I'm the Man. I picked this up at a record show for $1, and that's part of why this is on the Commonplace collection, because you can find these things dirt cheap. Dirt cheap. On Your Radio is great. Kind of Cute's great. I'm the Man's great. There's a lot of great songs, and this album is a lot brasher and is definitely has more of that tough English rock sound that was coming out in the late 70s. And I used to have this actually came in a box of 45s, and I remember having that box when I was like 8, but we had a flood in our Long Island basement. It got water damage because it was sitting on the floor in the basement and there was, I don't know, half a foot of water. That happened occasionally in our house for some reason. Yeah, so destroyed. A lot of my childhood records got destroyed that way. So some I kept anyway. That I did not, I guess, was beyond saving. He's got a little thing in there that says punk. So I mean, he was part of it there. Yeah. This is a really good album. You can find it, again, dirt cheap. And I recommend it. And I need to digitize that. This is the album that I think turns most people off from Joe Jackson. Night and day. This is not what those other two albums were. This is a definite change in his sound. And this becomes more like Steely Dan. And Steely Dan is certainly polarizing. It's not, on first listen, you think it's soft rock, and you can tell that there's maybe jazz influences, but it's something else, and there's other stuff going on. So the big hit on this was Steppin' Out. That's the song everyone knows, and you either love or hate that song. I love that song. And the other big hit is Breaking Us in Two. What a gorgeous song that is. But I think because those were hits, and soft rock is not fair, but it's certainly not what the other two were. That's where people get turned off. And again, you're doing yourself a disservice. This is a gorgeously recorded album. It sounds wonderful. It is played amazing. Proudly written in here, written and recorded in New York. There is a whole bunch of instruments. If you look on the liner notes, which some people do, the feel of it with that Hirschfeld kind of drawing is definitely, I mean, this sounds like a New York album. And maybe that's why I like it. Here's an album that I picked up for $2. This is a live album, but I think it's a live album, but it's of new material. 3-sided, digital, live, direct to 2-track recording. Shouldn't that sound amazing? It does. Side 4, if I believe, has nothing on it. It's it's smooth. Let's take a look. Oh, it's actually got one single groove all the way around. I don't know if you can pick it up. There is no music on this side. So this is obviously recorded for a CD, which is why there's no music on side 4. I'll be honest, this is, I've never paid attention to this album. I probably never even listened to this album. Same with Body and Soul. Right, so they're going for the Prestige or Blue Note kind of thing. And that's where the jazz is coming into play here. Saxes, trumpets. I don't know anything about this album. And again, that's my fault. It's just if I was going to grab a Joe Jackson album, I'd grab the first 2 and maybe Night and Day. And I just haven't allowed myself to hear those other albums, which is a shame. Because again, I think he's a stronger musician compared to Elvis Costello, even though Elvis Costello gets all the attention from that time period. That's why I'm pulling out the 2 together. And unlike Elvis Costello, who everyone gives a pass for his love with Burt Bacharach and going into that kind of direction, Joe Jackson going into that jazz direction, people I guess felt betrayed, or they left the Joe Jackson train because of it. So, all right. Commonplace. Pick up the first 3 albums. I think it's the 3rd. I might be missing something. If I'm missing something, you let me know. I didn't do any research of this. I don't do research. You can look up Wikipedia yourself. You're here to watch me talk about music, not me read Wikipedia to you. So, from Dixieland Farm, everybody, take care.